This is going to be a detailed examination of both guitar parts on Pentangle's original studio recording of this song. Live versions of the time kept to the same arrangement, more or less, while it did change a little in later reincarnations of the band. A 2008 version, for example, is substantially different. I'll be talking about those differences, but I want to focus on the original iconic recording because I discovered some surprising aspects of Bert's part especially. Just to underline, this is not an attempt to produce a version for one guitar. If you want that, I recommend Pierre's arrangement, which skillfully combines the distinctive elements of both parts, even taking Danny's bass into account where relevant. I'll give a link to his YouTube performance below. I believe Dariush Kanani has used his arrangement, or something very close to it, in performance with Jacqui McShee's Pentangle, which is perhaps the best recommendation possible. At some point I'll talk about the vocals and the original bass line. I'm not too qualified to discuss drums, because of course all the parts interlock in fascinating ways, but for now it's the guitars. I used Moises, an online stem separator, to split the recording into 5 tracks, as shown here. Vocal, drums, guitar, bass and other, which is anything Moises couldn't identify, although it does include a bit of Danny's bass at one point. So there's only one guitar track. Moises can't distinguish one acoustic guitar from another, but the original stereo recording pans Bert and John far enough apart to be able to hear who played what. I downloaded the tracks to work on them in Transcribe, I prefer that interface, and produced the transcription I uploaded to YouTube along with the original recording a month ago. However, a more recent, closer analysis has proved I got Bert's tab all wrong, so that has had to be fixed. The notes were right, just not the positions. So you can of course refer to that tab if you want, and the vocal and bass parts, but I will be demonstrating the guitar parts in detail here, as well as talking about the positional choices and interesting aspects of the composition and arrangement. So, to begin with, let's listen to Bert's part, the left channel of the guitar stem, as shown in Transcribe. It's a 4-bar sequence played twice, C minor 9, B flat 9, F9 and C minor 9 again. I wrote them as 7th chords before, but the 9ths play a significant part in the riff. The meter is the unusual 3-2, 6 quarter notes or crotchets in the 3 pairs. That is, we can count the beat as crotchets at 175, but there is also a slower pulse of half that, confirmed by Terry Cox's 1-2-3 counting in a 2008 TV performance by the original lineup. So it wasn't too hard to work out the notes, as shown here, and the chord shapes also seemed straightforward. Common sense assumptions were supported by that 2008 performance, where Bert is seen using those shapes. None of the early live videos show his hands clearly, and it didn't seem worth checking them anyway, when the shapes seemed obvious. So, before we get into the interesting stuff, here are those basic shapes. So the C minor 7 would be here, the B flat here, the F7 here, and back to the C minor 7 here, and the parts kind of work like this. Now you may notice there was a rogue note came in there on the F7 chord, as I took my index finger off the F here. There's a risk of that E sounding, which caused me a bit of a problem trying to work out how to mute that successfully without actually playing a bar. So that led me to examine more closely what Bert actually played himself. I checked Bert's solo stem to find that rather than a rogue E ringing, there was a rogue bass G. Here it is highlighted in Transcribe's waveform at that moment between the bass F and the next played notes. So that led me to an alternative fingering, which I was able to confirm by watching the close-up of his right hand at the beginning of this 1971 performance. It's clear in that clip which strings are being picked to produce the notes, and that in turn made it obvious which frets were involved for those notes. So, this is how he played the F7, at least in that performance, and presumably back in 1969. So he begins with the F root note, and then the index finger comes up to 3rd fret, and that would be where the G is sounded, inadvertently, but that's where it must come from. And then he comes up for the 7th and the 3rd, the E flat and the A, up here. And back to the, so that's the E flat, A and G played here on the 5th and 4th strings. Now it takes quite a bit of practice to get that to work and get it up to speed. And he does play both the C on the same string and with a thumb stroke. You see his thumb picking that string. Okay, like that. But that in turn made me wonder how he played the C minor and B flat chords. And again, the strings being pictured that close up on that video pointed to a different position from what I'd originally assumed here. Okay. The C minor works like this. Now whether you choose here to come up for the bar on the 5th fret, I think is less important here. So you could be playing the notes with these 2 fingers here, coming up to the B flat here. You do occasionally hear a hint of a slide to confirm that he is actually doing this on the 4th string. And this note rings with these 2 here. Now the B flat, very similar. Okay, so let me go through all 3 of those chords. Slow to begin with. We'll see if I can play it at tempo after that. So those choices of Bert's might seem a little bit counterintuitive, and you might think, why not play them down here? It sounds good enough. You can somehow avoid that. Be careful, that open. thing happening on the F7 if you're careful. But there is something about the way Bert plays his part in that it separates all the notes of the chord into a single lead guitar type line of a series of single notes. It highlights the difference between that and John's part, John Rembel's part, where he is playing sustained chords. So there's a good balance between the two guitar parts. The more staccato effect of Bert's parts and the sustained chords of John's part. So let's have a look at John's part now. This is the right channel of the guitar stem. So let's go over John's chords there. C minor 7. Hammer on from the 7th to the root there. Not always there, and I think in later versions he does something like this. A little kind of embellishment there. But essentially the same thing on all three chords. Again, in these standard positions here. C minor 7, B flat 7. And here you get the third of the chord in there, which Bert doesn't use in his pattern. And F7 here. Back to C minor 7. Okay. So let me see if I can put those two parts together, and I'll play them along with Terry's drum track if I can. Let's see if that works. Okay, now the verse sequence, which is alternating bars of 5/4 and 7/4, introduced by Danny's solo bass before Bert joins in for 2 more bars before Jacqui comes in. And the vocal verse itself is 12 bars, first 4 same as the last 4. So here's Bert's part, the audio and how Transcribe plays it. Okay, so it opens with C and B flat power chords essentially, although for the C it's just the C and the G, and then the B and B flat for the B flat chord. So that's how Bert plays it. Okay, and then the F for the last 2 beats. So the F bass, 5th there at the C there on the 5th string, and pulling off the 3rd string to the F on the 4th string there. And he's letting the notes ring a little bit more here than he did in the intro. Okay, and that goes through twice for the first 4 bars of the verse, and then you get this G minor bar. Now this is extremely complicated, or difficult to play. It starts with this. Essentially it's a G minor for 3 beats, and then D minor, just D and F octaves rather, for the last 2 beats. Let me play you that isolated bar in Bert's track here. You can hear sounds like there's a lot going on there. So when he's playing he starts with the G bass, and then there's octave B flats here. B flat on the 1st fret, the 5th string, and 3rd fret of the 3rd string. And he actually pulls them off hear this note ringing, and from there it's to the octave Ds to octave F. So that's the implied D minor chord on beats 4 and 5. So slowing it down. Okay. He may well have intended the B flats to be just staccato, short like that, but you do hear him take the fingers off. So, and this middle finger is there on the third string, as if ready for the D minor chord. So he's beginning with this shape. He's picking the sixth string, and then fifth and third. That kind of thing, okay? And then from there, up to G minor here. And that could be all 4 strings. I think in fact it's just the B flat and the D there. And then a D minor here, normal D minor shape. And then a C played like this. Okay, so the C on the 5th string, open G, and then C and E on the top. Let me just check my tuning here. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's a 7/4 bar. And then another 5/4 with a D minor and the C. And then the 7/4 is the same thing again. D minor, C, and then this. It's kind of like a B flat, but it's a G minor, B flat bass, open G, D on the 2nd string, played like that. Okay. Back to and so on. So this is bars 5, 6, 7, and 8 of the verse, starting from the G minor. And then it's back to the first 4 bars. Okay, that goes through another couple of bars. And this is where John comes in with his 6ths, which I'll get to in a moment. Right, so that's the whole verse sequence of Bert's patterns. Let me someone take through all 12 of those. Let's see if I can get this without any mistakes. Okay, now for John's part. So he's tacit all the way through that first verse up to the end of the vocal, where he comes in on the last 2 bars with that passage of 6ths on the 3rd and 1st strings. So this is to go with the C and B flat chords with the F at the end that Bert's playing. So This is a C major chord. These notes here. So it's an E and a C up to a G and an E up here via the F and the D here, which is the B flat chord. So here's the C chord and the B flat chord, which is obviously 2 frets down. And he's connecting them like this. Okay. Back to the C here, the B flat again, and then the F is played like this, which is echoing Bert's passage, which is this, and John's playing. Alright, so let's just play that over again. And from there he's into his verse pattern, which is very similar. It starts by copying what Bert's playing. So remember, Bert is playing this. To accompany that, John starts with exactly the same thing but an octave up, C and G. And instead of going down to here, he goes up to the D and the B flat here. A little slide up to the C to start. And then up to the C here. Sliding the 3rd string first. And then back down the 3rd string and repeating that little concluding thing for the F chord. And that goes through twice, and then for the G minor, when Bert is playing his G minor part down here, G minor and D minor down there, something like that, John's up here. That's the G minor to the D minor. So it's G on the 4th string 5th fret, and the G and the B flat here on the 2nd and 1st strings. If you wanted, you could play the whole chord like that, but all you really hear is these top strings, and they're very much accented, very staccato and very prominent. Whereas the bass notes he's playing are a little bit understated. So that's the G to D minor, G minor to D minor, and then again for the 7/4 bar, last 2 beats with a C chord outlined like that. So E bass on the 5th, the 5th string 7th fret, 2 C's here, octave C's, 3rd string and 1st string, and then the D minor to C is played like this, open D string, and then 10th fret on the 3rd and 1st strings, and then the C this time, back to the E here, but now I think it's just the G and the C on the top 2 strings. Okay, back down to G minor. And back to okay. So those first 4 bars again. And we're sliding up, remember, to the C here. And this. And then he does his little 6th pattern again on the last 2 bars. So it's coming straight from this.